Hi, today I'm going to be reading you a book about an artist named Marc Chagall, and the book's called Art for Children. It's by Ernest Raboff. The Green Violinist, which is the piece of art that was on the cover actually, is one of Chagall's painted memories of his uncle, who fiddled, and of his birthplace in Vitebsk, Russia. The fiddler, the violin, the violet clothes, and the soaring dancer create a sense of music through the artist's use of color. The green face and hand make the old tunes seem new, as a fresh green spring. While the dark violet colors may reflect the sadness of the long, hard Russian winter, we are warmed by the glow from the orange violin. Marc Chagall was born on July 7, 1887. His birthplace was a small Russian village called Vitebsk. Zahar Chagall, his father, worked in a herring packing house. His son remembers him as a tall, quiet, and shy man who was always working. His mother had 8 other children besides her oldest son, Mark. She had a small shop in her home where she sold herring, which is a type of fish, flour, sugar, and spices to add to the family income. Chagall moved to France in 1923. From 1941 until 1948, he lived in the United States. Then he returned to France, but it was the memories of Russia that he painted and for which he is most famous. Marc Chagall said, "To keep the earth on one's roots and find another earth, that is a real miracle." On painting as a means of self-expression, it was more necessary for me than food. It seemed to me like a window through which I could have taken flight toward another world. As I grow older, I see more clearly and distinctly what is right and wrong in our way of life, and how ridiculous is everything not achieved with one's own blood and one's own soul, everything not infused with love. Everything can and will be transformed in life and in art, and if we speak the word love without shame, in it lies true art. And there's the illustration for that page and that page. Midsummer's Night Dream is a play by William Shakespeare in which a man in love is turned into a donkey. Chagall has painted this idea, showing in his own way how the man is changed. Each of us can enjoy finding the meaning for ourselves in this painting. One first notices the animal head on the man's body, then the dreamlike face of the bride. The red angel seems to be flying toward the horns of the animal head. Notice how the glowing light of the angel brightly shows on the flowering tree and the green fiddling clown. Chagall may be saying that man, even though an animal, has the ability within him to be a clown, a lover, and a musician. You can see that a little bit better right here. The Three Candles is a dramatic and powerful composition. The word composition just means the layout of the art. The candles, the bride and groom, the women with raised arms behind a pointed picket fence, the harlequin standing on a stool, all point upward, like rockets towards the sky. As though exploding, they shower the earth with flowers and green leaves, tumbling angels, and with the happy violinist Chagall often painted. The bridegroom, holding his wife in his arms, looks startled and amazed. The houses are very still, and even the animal rests contentedly under the candles. That means he's just satisfied and calm. I and the Village, this is one of his more famous pieces, the one I'm the most familiar with, is as much fun as it is beautiful. The eye of the cow, centered in the picture, sees many things. Within its head is the vision of itself with the milkmaid. Outside itself is aware of a person facing it, perhaps the artist. In the lower left corner, the sun and moon are combined and repeat a pattern that makes a diagonal path toward the picture, or across the picture. In the upper right side, a priest stands in the doorway of his church. Chagall shows us the village from many points of view, right side up and upside down. The happiness of the artist and the life of the village is shown by the colorful beads worn by the cow and the smile on the lips of the person on the right. Chagall's painting of The Poet is like a poem written with pictures instead of words. The position of the poet's head immediately attracts our attention. Like poets and painters, everyone daydreams at times. Do you ever feel as if your head and mind could float, twist, and turn backward, sideways, or upside down? Our imaginations can almost carry us away from our bodies. Artists often train their minds so that they can lose themselves in thought wherever they are working. It is part of their profession to share with us the results of these imaginings. This poet seems lost in thought as he sits with his pen, a cigarette, and his affectionate cat. The flowers of his thinking float nearby. The blue sky is repeated in the bottle and his clothes. Like the faucets of a diamond, each angle has a beauty of its own. In Three Acrobats, Chagall uses form, that means 3D shapes, with color and very little line to tell the story. The performing woman is the star of the act. Her head, framed by her arm and raised leg, you can see that here, it kind of makes a frame around her, attracts us first. Then our eyes move to the outstretched arm, down by the blue curtain, and to the waiting acrobat in the red shirt. His feet point us across the bright carpet to the bouquet of flowers, then up the right side of the picture. Here, the third acrobat, with arm on head, guides us up the other blue decorated curtain to complete the triangular pattern. The woman's two assistants, perhaps like us, gaze in wonder at her fine performance. Vase of flowers glows like an outdoor fire in the blue of the night sky. The bouquet fills the night with color and fragrance. The sounds of the evening are represented by the violinist in the upper left corner. The animal on the roof seems to be a symbol of security and peace. The moon is reflected in a halo of light around the resting animal's head. Paris Through a Window is a colorful and exciting painting. Chagall enjoyed drawing scenes of Paris and its landmarks, such as the Eiffel Tower. He never tired of looking at and painting this queen of cities. The two lovers walk close together, and the artist has painted them head to head. The upside-down train is part of Chagall's Paris scene. It puffs a column of smoke like the signature across the streets. Above, a man waves a flag. The buildings reflect the lights of the sky, while the sky catches the glow of the French city. The window frame mirrors the many colors seen outside. The cat, painted with human features, is a good friend and companion. Chagall shows us in The Acrobat how unusually long the arms, bodies, and legs of these entertainers appear to be as they perform their amazing feats. In the French circuses, the acrobats dress in costumes of clowns or harlequins. They resemble pinwheels of flashing colors as they dive through hoops, do backflips, and a series of somersaults. The artist makes acrobats out of our eyes. Also, our attention moves in circles as we look from the head to the ruffled collar, the arms, the hoop, costume, and finally to the running legs. Even the designs and patterns of the costume express a feeling of action and movement. And here's actually a sketch, too, from Chagall. Peasant Life is the story of a small village told for us in paint by a great storyteller. Chagall shows the pleasant everyday life of the village's rural people. And that means people who live in the country. Notice the farmer's well-fed horse. This is the peasant's most important fellow worker, as well as his loved companion. The cottage with its windows and shutters, the gas lantern, and the tree form the setting for this picture story. The horse and cart are ready to take the village family with their many farm products to market. The dancing couple completes Chagall's colorful picture of peasant life. And then here's the sketch on that side. In The Birthday, this is another piece I'm really familiar with, one of my favorites. Chagall shows us how he felt on one of his birthdays. In the picture, as in his memory, he floats into the home of Bella, his future bride. She greets him with a bouquet of flowers and a kiss. Her dress and one foot are caught up in the breeze of the artist's motion. Her purse lies on the table in front of the cake she has baked, beside it with a glass for wine and a piece of watermelon. The bright red of the floor, the table, and the bedspread add a warm glow to the room. Through the window, she can see the quiet street, the neighbor's picket fence, and the stars in the evening sky. Chagall has painted his joyous birthday memory for everyone to share. One should study Time is a River Without Banks to explore full meaning of the title. The curious flying fish playing the violin reflects the color and flames of the sun on its wings and mouth. On one bank of the river, a young couple is unaware of Grandfather Time ticking away the hours. They hear only the music. On the other side, curving around the horizon, are the houses of the city. They stand silently, holding the history of time and the river in their worn bricks and stone walls. The blue of the day and the darker blue of night fill the canvas with color. A lone fisherman paddles his way into the future. And here's a sketch if you want to see on this side. The fiddler, who plays his violin in many of Chagall's paintings, was in reality a favorite uncle. The artist knew of the famous Russian story by Sholem Aleichem about a fiddler who played from the rooftops. In this picture, Chagall placed his fiddler with one foot on the roof. When the fiddler played, it was as though he were dancing above the roofs, and as if his music took him up among the angels close to heaven. To show that he enjoyed his musical uncle while he was small, when he was growing up and when he was a young man, Chagall painted himself with three heads in the lower left side of the picture. The houses are all lighted either from within or from without, as though the people might be listening to the music in the night. In the lower right corner, some of the birds also listen, while others seem to be singing with the fiddler. And then the last page is just a sketch. And a sketch is just something an artist creates very quickly, just to get an idea across. For practice, usually.